I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Vlad Pivnec, CEO of Icoda, here to talk about a variety of topics, including AI, DeFi, crypto exchanges, DEXs, news, PR, and much more. Vlad, welcome to the show, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you, Ashton, for joining,
Yeah, there's
for
a lot.
invitation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uh, there's a lot of factors going on for crypto companies and how they can be successful, especially with the incorporation of AI into blockchain. Finding that balance between incorporating it to add value and just for speculation. I know you've been deep in it for a few years. I would love to start off with just a little bit of background on yourself in crypto and what you've and the team have built at Icoda, and then we can dive into all those topics.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Ashton. So we are Icoda, we are a Web3 marketing agency, and since 2017, we help crypto companies to grow, to attract users, raise capital, scale globally, and many other stuff. So for now, I would say that we help more than 300 different crypto projects to be successfully executed. And if you're talking about names, it could be, I don't know, Telegram, Ton, it could be
Mm-hmm.
Floki, BeanKeeks, Bybit, and many others, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I would say that we are behind the scenes in terms of the what's happened in crypto projects in terms of acquisition, in terms of marketing. So that's why I believe that today's video interview, so we can show the details on how any crypto project can do some marketing tricks, marketing strategies, and I believe that it will be helpful for C-level managers, for crypto founders, for marketers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to hear the inside part of all these crypto companies. They're all looking for getting attention because there's a lot of noise in the hundreds of thousands of crypto companies now, and a lot of them have a lot of value, but a lot of people don't hear about it because they don't know what they're doing with marketing. And I know that working with a lot of PR companies over the years, there's a lot of different narratives that come through, and companies try to pivot to stay on to what's hot and also what's the latest technology and what can add value to the company. And I want to start off by talking about AI and the incorporation of AI with blockchain because I feel like AI is much bigger than blockchain and crypto altogether and has a lot of value. But a lot of that value is sort of untapped so far. And as AI grows, it will become more obvious. But I think blockchain companies are starting to realize that AI can add value. They just have to figure out how to. So maybe we could start with, have you spoken to blockchain companies that are looking to incorporate AI or have incorporated AI, and where do they find that balance between just incorporating it for the sake of saying that we have AI and actually having an added value into the company?
Great. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, but let me show it from the marketing point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely know that there are not a lot, but maybe, I don't know, dozens of crypto projects which try to implement AI in their blockchain products. But let's look at it from the marketing point of view. And, like, uh, if we come back to summer 2024, so, and if we open stats from different crypto projects, DeFi protocols, centralized exchanges, different crypto companies, it doesn't matter. And if you see the stats from different sources, from paid traffic, search engine optimization, from Twitter, and so on,
Mm-hmm.
so we would see that any AI source of traffic has zero. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like 1 year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now if we open the same projects, the same stats, we see uh, traffic from ChatGPT, from Gemini, from Perplexity, and others. And it varies, it depends on the project, but I would say that the ballpark figures from 2% up to 10%. This is what we already have. And it just 1 year passed. And the good point is that the traffic from these sources, they have higher conversion than average, usually 2 or 3 times more. It means if a user wants to find, I don't know, a crypto exchange in, let's say, in Poland. So, and ChatGPT answered, okay, please use this exchange. It means that the conversion rate so the likely he registered, deposit money, and everything will be okay. So, like we've done a research regarding AI and centralized exchanges in how do they present it in AI. We've got like 25 exchanges. We've made like more than 1,000 requests to different AI protocols to look which of the exchanges are better, which are not, and so on. And the result of this analysis is that the difference between tier one exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, and tier two exchanges are not so big as we thought. I'm talking only about ChatGPT, Gemini, and different LLMs. So by the way, in our analysis, we used 8 different LLMs. So it means that for now, for many different crypto projects, centralized exchange, DeFi protocols. So it's a chance to get I would say a share of the market and to get additional, I don't know, users and attract it. So and like 2 weeks ago, I had a talk with my friend, and they have their auditing company, and I would say, they're pretty known in the crypto. But at the same time, if you ask any AI, please advise me an auditing company. So there were any answers with their name. So, and I believe that in 1 year, in 3 years, if you are not in AI, so you are not exist for digital at all.
Yeah, that's actually super important to understand because AI and the LLMs, it's the new Google ranking. For decades it was like, how can we get our company to be on the top search result on Google? But now it's really people are shifting to Googling through the LLMs and
Yeah.
getting your company at the top result of that when they ask for best crypto exchange or best this type of company is important. So maybe you could touch on that a little bit more. Obviously, it sounds like the companies would work with Icoda to get the ranking up. But what's the tricks and the rhyme behind getting your company higher on the results list through the LLMs?
Yeah, sure. I can share like our research and our results of different kind of researches. And to be honest, like we do R&D more than 2 years because it's clear that everybody wants to be in the top of the LLMs. So, and I would say that the basement for it is search engine optimization, but it's a little bit different. If you're talking about promoting your website in Google, so you need to do some technical stuff on your website that Google can index it properly. So then you need to buy some external links, articles, and so on. If you are talking about AI, it's more complicated. Firstly, you have to do search engine optimization. The second one, you have to analyze all sources which LLM provides for the answers. Because if you type any request in LLM, usually Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, they provide also links to the sources where these LLMs got this information. So you should think how to be in these resources as well. And most it could be media, it could be I don't know, forums and other stuff. So and you should think how to be in these sources. And the next point is, um, and I was wondering that AI systems and LLMs, they pay attention uh, to uh, to mm, to your reviews. So
Mm-hmm.
if you provide any service and you have a lot of negative in the internet,
Mm-hmm.
so what we got that LLM tries to avoid your company.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't, so it means so LLM try to find you the best solution, not only based on the links in the internet, but also analyze some reviews, and some of them try to warn you, please don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So you should understand the risk, etc. So that's why I would say, in a simple terms, it's search engine optimization, but it's more complicated than usual one. The next part is your reputation in digital at all. And also, the last part is social indicators like your social media and other stuff. So you need to make, like before, you could make only, I don't know, only Twitter promotion, and that's enough, okay, for crypto projects, for some of the crypto projects. But if you wanted to be in LLM, so you have to do more complicated marketing. Yeah.
Very interesting. And I actually saw this new term. It's like GEO instead of SEO. So for generative engine optimization. Is this what you're talking about with getting into the AI, getting up in the AI's algorithm? And is that something that's moving forward? GEO is going to be the new SEO?
I believe so. And uh, a lot of people thought that with AI, people will lose their job. And it's true, to be honest, like copywriters, designers, developers, and so on. It's true. But what I see now, that LLM is not a tool which where you can lost your job, but it's a tool where you can buy. So it means if I want to buy, I don't know, any stuff, it doesn't matter. I wanted to buy a coffee machine, I want to buy new shoes, flight ticket, I can go to the LLM and ask to do it. And it seems that um, for crypto, it will be the same. If I want something in crypto, I can go to LLM and ask to do it. Okay, if I want to find the best DeFi yield platform to farm USDC, so I can ask LLM where the best sources to do it. If I want to create an account on derivative exchange, so of futures exchange, so I can go to LLM and ask. So, and I would say that from this point of view, the LLM is a place where you can use different crypto solutions and choose crypto solutions. And by the way, like when we are talking about losing the job, I thought that I would say that Ashton, you are in a good position, because I thought that people also will stop to watch. It was my idea that people will stop to watch YouTube, because, okay, if you want, I mean, in terms of the education. So because, okay, if I want to know something, I can go in LLM to just type in my question and to get the answer. But I was wrong, because any researchers which I so they show that people not that people not even um, watch video on YouTube less. They watch more because,
Mm,
and this, in this case, that educational video on YouTube, it's an addition option to look in the details. You can see the picture, you
mhm,
can provide, you can see faces and so on.
mm.
So that's why I think that in these terms, like Ashton, you're in a good position.
That's nice to know. And honestly, I'll be honest. If there are videos that are 2, 3 hours long, I often throw that into the AI, and I say, get me some of the key points, even if you have watched the video, to sort of remember everything concisely. And sometimes it doesn't work, but you have to copy the transcript. But often you can get hard facts from the video by putting it into the LLM as well. But of course, it's nice to actually see and hear the people talking and get a combination of both. So it's nice to hear. And speaking of like taking the jobs, and we haven't talked about AI agents, but what do you think about blockchain companies exploring AI agents to maybe not replace the jobs on the social team, but to support it and maybe eventually replace it? Where do you think the social side is at with that?
So I see that people really start to use any AI tools to optimize their processes, and I think that you know it as well. So it's not new, and I would say that for any person, there are two options. The first one to be up to date with any AI solutions you can use and be more productive than before. Or the second one, not to die, but maybe to lose a job or
Mm-hmm.
do nothing. So, and I see it from any crypto projects which has a proper financial cash flow, financial plan. So, like a usual business, you try to optimize the process, and like I think it's everywhere, and even in your job to do a video interviews, um, to have a YouTube channel. So if you understand that you can optimize any step, any process, and it will be easier and cheaper than before, why not?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And you mentioned searching for DeFi projects. There's a lot of DeFi projects in the space. I feel like it's one of the number one categories that should grow of types of crypto projects that are tokenizing the financial industry or democratizing, lowering barriers to entry for financial inclusion. I'm guessing that Icoda has worked with DeFi platforms over the years. Can you talk about DeFi platforms, where they're at, how they look at marketing, and how can we grow the TVL, the value locked in DeFi, beyond the 2021 levels and get a larger percentage of people in crypto into DeFi and also get new people into DeFi?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, like, uh, it's definitely depends on the project and what's behind it. But if you are, if it's a pretty secure protocol and you can provide generous rewards for new users, so it's not a difficult challenge to invite new users to your protocol. I would say that the main challenge to increase the LTV, lifetime value of users for your DeFi protocol, that they use it for years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there are like different mechanics and so on. But in terms of the marketing, there are like already known source of traffic from, I don't know, search engine optimization, from different PR activities, Twitter campaign, influencers, and many others. So, and like here, I could share with you some, maybe it will be helpful for the um, um, listeners, for people who watch this video. So in terms of the attracting Web2 users, and recently, like this year, we've got, I don't know, maybe more than 10 different requests from DeFi and CeFi projects, which are looking not for Web3 users, they're looking for Web 2 users because Web 3 is limited, it seems so. But Web 2 is much, much bigger, and a lot of projects are looking for Web 2 to grow. And here we also have some case studies and understanding how to do it. So and we even made so let me share one example, okay? So we worked with a DeFi project which had a algorithmic stablecoin. So and their initial offer was like 16% API on your stablecoins, and it was a couple of years ago, but it was like a pretty high percentage. And we've got like Web3 users, but we also decided to dive into the details how to attract Web2 users. And firstly, it failed. Then we decided to make a customer development to understand what should we do, why people don't join it. And when we provided a customer development, we realized that Web2 users thought that it's too good to be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
16% API and so on. So the next pain point was, okay, I can deposit, but how can I withdraw money? So can I withdraw at any time, or like in bank, I don't know, if you deposit, you can withdraw it, in 1 month, in 1 year. So the next question was, if it's real, why banks don't provide the same solution, like 16% API? So that's why we've realized that we need to explain like every step on all things. And after this explanation for users, so we started to attract like Web2 audience. So, and the second case, it was a little bit different. It was not DeFi, but it was CeFi. But the idea was that, like now there are different countries with a high inflation rate, and let's say, I don't know, Venezuela, Turkey, Argentina. For example, for now in Argentina, there are like two different currency rates for USD, like on a regular market and on a black market.
Yeah.
So, and if you can come to these markets and say, okay, you are Web2 users, we clearly understand it. So, but on our exchange, you can save your money. So let's do it. So this is that second example how you can, like second case, how can you use Web2 audience for your projects? Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you could have a great offer, but that 16% is very high. And I actually had the same thought when Celsius and these yield platforms were getting really popular. Some of the yields were like 10%. That was sort of becoming the standard, was 10%. And I remember the Luna stablecoin was 20%. And I thought, sounds too good to be true. I'm going to stay away. And I was right on that. So thankfully, I didn't invest to the 20%. But I feel like right now, banks they're being forced to raise their yields, but people think of banks as like decimals of a percent. And crypto, 4 to 5% seems reasonable. I feel like we could attract a lot of Web2 companies or Web2 users being like understanding, okay, 4 to 5% is not outrageous. It doesn't sound like a scam. I feel like we could bring more people into DeFi that aren't even in crypto, just with so many of them that just have money sitting in the bank that's probably not even earning a percent and also is under inflation as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So, what other ways I think this is really important to be able to get more Web 2 people into crypto, because there's a lot of people that have seen Bitcoin and they start to understand about it and they're starting to invest, but there's such a huge percentage of people that they don't want to get involved with Bitcoin. They like fiat or stable coins as we get into more digital dollars, but the yield is, I think, is something that could really convert a lot of people that don't want to invest in crypto, but they understand that the money in their bank is not giving them enough. And if they can get a few percentage, that'll get them into the door, that gets them into the rabbit hole, into all of crypto and digital assets. So, what other ways can companies do marketing to try and get Web 2 users in?
Um, so, to sum up, what should you do? And it may be some key insights after our marketing campaigns. So, the first one is you should communicate differently, and your UX also should be different. Let me share here you one more example. One of our clients is crypto exchange website where you can change, I don't know, BTC for USDT and others. But their main segment of users are people above 50 years or something like this. I would say that it's most of them are retired or something like this. And one of the channel of communication is a phone. So they can talk with people with some of them, I don't know, maybe grandma, grandpa,
Yeah.
and you talk with them to explain like every step like before. It seems that you are back, I don't know, maybe in 1990 or something like this, but it feels like you're just too old, but it's a comfortable way for them to invest crypto because they also have like money they want to invest, they wanted to consider different options, and they want to find a company they can believe. So that's the point. And it was an example of how you can target on different audience and how you can handle with it and how can you work with them. So, um, so that's what it was the first insight. The second one that the high yield is difficult to explain for users, and you mentioned, and I agree with you. Today, if you come and say, okay, I have 16% on stable coins, it sounds like a scam. So you have to explain in details where you get this percentage and other stuff. So, um, and I would say that if you target on, you have to understand that macroeconomics of different countries, because in some cases it's a really good option, uh, in countries where people try to save their money, so they can consider any options to invest.
For sure. And speaking of exchanges, there's a lot of smaller exchanges that many people haven't heard of that are just perfectly good, trustworthy companies, but it's hard to compete with Coinbase and Binance and these big ones that have billions in revenue and millions of customers. With some of the crypto exchanges that you've worked with for marketing, what are the ways that smaller crypto exchanges can turn into one of those big exchanges?
So, Ashton, it's a good question. To be honest, um, every month we receive, I don't know, maybe 3, 5 requests from new crypto exchanges which want to conquer the market, to compete with exchanges, and some of them have budgets and team to do it. And let's dive in 2020. So if you look at 2020, like BingX exchange has almost 0% of the market share. Gate.io has less than 1%. Crypto.com had almost zero, but now it's well-known big exchanges, and it's 5 years.
Yeah.
From my point of view, for such a big business, it's not so long. So that's why the first point, it seems that even now in the current market, it's possible. And like when I was in Dubai token 2049, so I've seen maybe more than three new exchanges which were launched like 1 year, maybe 1 year and 1.5 years, and they already in some of them are already in top 50 coin market cap in the list. So that's why it's definitely possible. So, but in a nutshell, so and usually what we do, firstly, we need to understand the final goal. What should it be? It could be a trading volume, it could be amount of users, um, it could be a revenue from the users from the trading and other stuff. So the first point to define the goals. The next point is to divide this goal into the small goals and small tasks. What should we do? For example, let me share like one of the real request. So a new exchange, they want to get a $20 million per day in 1 year. So and we just divided, okay, $20 million per day. It seems that you have to have like 20,000 active traders. So, and 20,000 active traders, it should be like more than 50,000 traders. And 50,000 traders, it should be like 200,000 registration signups. So, and when you divide into the details and you start. So the next point is to understand the market and where do you want to compete. So it's clear that different local markets, different licenses, different situation in this market, and so on. Of course, to make a competitors analysis, customer development, and to honestly to answer yourself why people will come to your exchange and not to others. So and then you start with um, early adopter program to honestly to explain community, okay, we are new, we have marketing budget, okay, be the first person who trade on the exchange, and we will reward you. So and then I would say that it seems that our strong side in the agency is a performance side. It means that we like to drive traffic. We like to analyze everything um, to understand the cost mm, uh, of a user we attract, of the sign up, of the KYC, of a deposit, and other steps. So and then you also provide some different trading competitions, referral program. Then if you already have, I don't know, 20,000 active traders, you can move to some institutional department where you work with institutional clients and so on. So that's why but like it's easy to talk about it, but when you start to integrate it and work with it, I would say it's a challenge because so if you an exchange and if you simply come to influencers, most of them are already booked.
Yeah.
So and here we need to be honest with ourselves. So why new traders should come to us? What should we provide for them? Why they choose us? What can we offer for influencers and other stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to think about. And I've seen many small exchanges try and fail because the amount of people trading in Web3 is small, and it's hard to, when you're already set on a certain exchange, it's like switching banks. The customer acquisition the cost is very high. Once people have a bank, they're there for life almost, unless something happens. And speaking of something happening, I'm curious on sort of the negative news or bad PR. And as a PR company, there's been definitely a few events over the years, whether it's a crypto exchange hack or something with the founders going on, whether they're just stepping down or maybe they're going to prison, and other negative news in the industry. I'm curious on how you guys have dealt with that. If you've worked with companies that have had negative news, do you mitigate it, or is any news good news? What are your thoughts on that?
So, I believe that for any crypto projects, that reputation is maybe one of the most important thing, because uh, if any user wants to deposit money, so the first step is to analyze the company, the project, reviews, and so on. So, and like if you have a client and the client is angry, so they will definitely go to reviews platforms and leave negative review. If the client is happy, usually, so the client does nothing because it's
Yeah.
okay. You provide the service and so on. So that's why if I'm talking about reputation, the first point, I believe that it's a really, really, really important thing for many crypto companies because you work with money.
Mm-hmm.
So and in finance field, it seems that it's important. So how to handle with it? Like in our agency, we have a department who is responsible for it, and there are different options on different stages what you can do. The first, for example, one of the most important thing is to start uh, to measure your NPS. In marketing, it's called like Net Promoter Score. What is the percentage of clients who are happy with your product, with your service? I know that maybe small amount of crypto companies does it, but anyway. So to understand, is it good or like what is your current status? And at the same time, on our side, we could track a reputation in here and now to analyze, okay, how many negative or positive or neutral messages you have in the internet, in social media, and so on. And then like you start to handle with it, and there are different like options how to do it from the product from the project sides as well, and from our side we definitely use some PR sources to handle with negative. Sometimes we could connect a legal department to help us to talk. We have a we also have a direct connection even with Trustpilot, and sometimes they can help us with this stuff. But it depends on the case, and like right now, I I would say I'm watching a case with Mixie Exchange when they try to. Uh, I would say it seems that they try to freeze different accounts with big rewards. So if a user, okay, let me show you an example. A user just deposited 100K. So the user started to trade and won like 9 millions. And when
Wow.
so and on a futures trading with leverages, but before, to be honest, like this user lost a lot,
Uh-huh.
just to be sure. And now the account is freezed and he couldn't do nothing. And I see that a lot of people are in the same in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
And like before our call, I just decided to check the Trustpilot account of
Mm.
Mixie, and it's 1.6. I
Mm.
have never seen lower before.
Uh-huh.
So, but anyway, so and like in this case, you couldn't solve this problem only with marketing,
Mm-hmm.
with some reputation management services and so on. You need to do something on the project sides,
Mm.
like so. Yeah, in simple terms, but there are some ways how you can handle with it. And I know that like if you have a good reputation, you have a better performance on any other source of marketing you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have a good reputation, so like any attracted user will cost you much, much lower.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's great to know. I appreciate your insights, Vlad, into all these different categories, especially about the AI and LLMs, since it's much newer than the traditional marketing streams, but becoming ever more important. Is there a place to learn more about this if you have a company or reach out to you? What's the best way to learn more and follow up?
I think that any crypto project can reach us directly via website. So, and we are definitely ready to share some insights we already have because we do a lot of R&D in terms of AI as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we are ready to share it. Yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for the time, Vlad. Appreciate what you and the team at Icoda are working on here and the insights for crypto companies. Keep targeting those Web2 users as well. I'd love to see more people in blockchain and would love to follow up again in the near future.
Thank you, Ashton.